Good morning. This is Mandy with the SOULfully Sustainable podcast. I suppose we can't call it a radio station or a radio show anymore. I'm here with my guest, Gina. You guys met Gina, I don't even know, maybe in the fall, or was it even summertime?
It would have been at least 4 months ago.
Yeah, a few months ago. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember what we talked about. But
poop.
Oh, right. We alluded to that. We didn't totally jump over that.
It was more like waste-free.
Yes, that's right.
Or sustainability.
Sustainability, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I suppose it's the SOULfully Sustainable podcast, and that's why. I've got Gina here in my basement of my house. We've recently moved into town, into Lethbridge, the last month and a half from living out in a small community, and so I've taken a little bit of a hiatus from the podcast and radio show, and Gina and I were just catching up. She's visiting here from her home in Costa Rica, and you'll hear some of her niece and her daughter in the space with us today, and that's part of what's really cool about how we live life is sometimes when Bobby and I are recording, we've got kids running in the background and Superman or Batman popping in to say hi when we're talking and all of those things. So it'll be a live broadcast.
It's real life. That's what it is.
It's authentic. It's real. Absolutely. And so I invited Gina to chat. We've been trying to catch up for the last couple of months, again, with me being busy moving and her living in Costa Rica in the jungle.
Sunshine! That's
Sometimes
why.
the rocks and the sunshine are calling more than to sit down and carve this conversation out. So I'm appreciative that she made time during her trip to Canada to meet with me. One of the things that Gina and I share in common is this really, oh man, I don't know how to describe this, but we have such a love and appreciation for our bowel movements and our elimination and the purpose of it, and poop. And so I've had this great journey with poop over the last probably 10 or 11 years as I started to get to know about my body and how my body detoxifies and how it lets go and cleanses itself naturally through my journey of cleansing, through my education as a colon hydrotherapist and in the natural health field. It constantly comes up, and it still comes up in my life even as I'm having more sort of growth and evolution conversations. As I gather with women, inevitably somebody shares something about how their bowels are working or not, and there's such a relationship between how we feel and how we view our lives and how well we're eliminating. And so I don't really know where we're going to take ourselves today in terms of the conversation. We're going to start talking about poop and the importance of it. But I know that there's something there. It's just a metaphor for the waste that we carry in our lives, and a metaphor for the places where we hold and we don't allow things to move easily. So Gina is I don't know, what do you call yourself? A health coach, a life coach, a
poop coach.
A poop coach. Oh, great. We're just going to put that hat right on.
I'm Gina the POOP coach.
If I would have had to give you a name, unedited, that would have been it. So
I do have a background in nutrition.
Yes.
I'm a herbalist, and I was a colon hydrotherapist for a little bit, and then now I am a poop coach. So whatever will make people have healthy bowel movements, that's what I deal with. So we dive into a little bit of meditation, we dive into like vibrational beats, food, everything, because it all comes down, and like stress levels, because all of those affect the digestive system. And so my big name is the poop coach.
Poop queen, that just came into my brain. I love it. I feel like I've retired from that in some ways, and like you're just taking it to this whole other level. And I know a few people who are in the sort of nutritional health coaching world through my experiences in health food stores locally here, and the focus of each of those women, I'm thinking of 3 of them specifically, which we mutually know, their focus is always, no matter what it is that is presented in office space. So I have Crohn's, I have colitis, I have an autoimmune disease, Hashimoto's, like cancer, pick something, anything, it always comes back to our toxicity levels, what's moving or not moving within our bodies, and then the trauma that we suffer that causes, trauma or stress that also impairs those systems from naturally shedding what they need to shed, or detoxifying or cleansing, whatever language you want to put to it. So you might come in with a whole bunch of things, but it always comes down to let's get things moving really well.
So that's when I get the big eyes, and they're like, okay, I just told you about my thyroid issue, and now you're talking about the other end of me? Like,
how does that relate?
You make no sense, Gina. Like, do you really know what you're doing? And I'm like, well, I think I do. I mean, I've helped some people. I've helped myself. Mostly, I've just been my own guinea pig to get my digestion underway, because I was sick for probably 10 years and lethargic and irritated. And I think the biggest thing was, or a lot of times I see these days, everybody is irritated. And it sounds, people laugh when I say this, but it's so true. I'm like, they just haven't pooped.
Yes.
They're so irritated and bunged up in their own bodies, and there's just toxic waste that's getting recirculated and recirculated, and they're bloated and they're gassy and they feel inflamed and they can't think, and their eyes are burning because their liver's not working, and then it all goes back to digestion. So I have a saying, and it's life is better when you're pooping, and pooping is life. You can tell so much about you just by your bowel movement. Like, if I didn't know who you were, and you just, someone, I don't know, handed me your bowel movement on a silver platter, I could tell if you were digesting your food, if you were chewing it properly, if your liver was working, if you had a bit of candida. Like, there's so much stuff that you can tell from a bowel movement, or whether or not you're having them, or not.
Not just even having them, but the quality. Oh my gosh, again, this just feels like I mean, it's one thing when we're having the conversation because we're speaking to the choir, so to speak, right? We come from it from the same place, but as our listeners are probably going, oh my gosh, they're literally going to talk about poop for an hour. What could that possibly relate to? Anyone who knows us and listens to this, it isn't a stretch for them. Let's, I suppose talking a little bit about the physiology of how our bodies work is, I don't know, an important piece of that. If you don't understand your digestive system, it's important. What is the spiel that you give your clients in terms of the educational piece and with your digestive system and how it works? It
differs a little bit, but I try to get people to know that the body is connected. We come from one cell that has broken off and branched off to make different parts of the body. So if you have something wrong with your thyroid, if you have a foggy brain and can't think or always have headaches, you always have to look to the gut. The gut will tell you what's healthy. It tells you if you're nervous, it tells you if something's going to go wrong. Like, people are like, oh, the gut feeling. Everything always, in my opinion, goes down to the gut. So I try and educate them on what do your bowels do for you? And how can they make you feel happy and healthy, less irritated, more motivated, and just like ready to jump out of bed and give it all that you have every single day for life. If we're dealing with anxiety and depression, you're looking to the gut. So I educate them on whatever you eat, whatever you think, whatever is in the air goes through and it goes into the digestive system, and that makes or breaks you. And that what you eat has to come out. And it's not even just food, it's body waste. And so it's just kind of reminding them what they have learned throughout the years in their life. Whether it's from like kindergarten, like you learn a little bit about poop and like what's in it. It's bacteria, it's mucus, it's body waste, it's food, it's undigested fiber, which is a good thing to help everything come out. And then I also tell them the importance of a healthy poop. If your bowels aren't working, now your liver's not working. If your liver's not working, your hormones are off. If your hormones are off, your thyroid is off. If your thyroid is off, like, it literally all comes down to your bowel movements. And then when you start to tell them about bowel movements, how important they are in life, then they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because they're so disconnected because nobody wants to talk about poop.
Nope.
And you say that word and people are like, ha ha ha, like they kind of laugh and like this, whoa, she just said the word poop, or like poopies. I'm like, yeah, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to make it we're going to make it okay to talk about and not taboo. So once you like break that we can talk about poop barrier, then they start to connect with their bodies a little bit more. And they're like, oh, actually, like I do feel better after I have a bowel movement, or, oh, I haven't pooped for 3 days. And so they start to think, oh, maybe that's why I can't lose weight. Yes. Because I just always feel bloated and gassy. And I'm like, there's no way you can lose stomach fat if you're just completely full of poop. It just won't work. And then when you're full of poop, you're stressed out because you feel terrible, and then your adrenal glands take a hit, and you cannot burn fat if your adrenals are shot. Yeah. And then you're still stressed, and so you tense up, and then again your liver, and now
it's self-perpetuating at some point, right? The oh shoot, I just lost it. There was something you said there. The recirculation has always made sense for me. So because this is a soulful view, I'm going to continually bring in the metaphors, how it relates to our energetic selves, our essence, how we choose to live our lives, spiritual or otherwise. When we think the same thoughts over and over and over, we just create that same scenario in our lives over. If we have a storyline about how a woman or a mother or a partner should be, we continue to create that same thing. When we continue to put the same foods in our body or not, because sometimes the issue is not nourishing your body properly, we start to get constipated and backed up, and there's nowhere to go. And we know from a toxicity perspective that the waste that's coming through, like the poop that you're releasing, is toxic. It is the toxic byproducts of what your liver does and what your other organs do of your body. It's cellular debris, it's bacteria and viruses and all kinds of things. So just imagine holding on to all of that in our energy centers in our body, and how much, how backed up that tends to get physically and energetically. And, there's a reason that we put our garbage out and then it's taken away. If we just put our garbage in the basement of our house and kept piling up and piling up and piling up, you would have a toxic environment over time.
Like, what if your sewer, if your sewer ever backed up on you and came into your basement, that would be a big deal. You would get people coming to clean. You would evacuate your house.
Yes, you would.
And it would be a state of emergency for your family because it's dirty, and that's where you, like, if your immune system's low, like, that is going to break down your body. You would leave your house, but in your body, you can't leave.
No.
You're always, sometimes I'm like, I'd like to leave this stinky place of mine. Like, when I was traveling here, traveling always, like, backs up my bowels, and I was like, oh my gosh, they might kick me off the plane for my stinky bum. Yeah. And I was like, I just can't. I took some activated charcoal to, like, make everything okay. Yeah. But I wanted to leave my body. I'm like, man, I stink. Like, I don't want to be in this place. And that's the body just saying, hey, could you eat better? Yeah. Could you de-stress a little bit? Could you deep breathe? Maybe you need some more water. But if that situation, if your sewer ever got backed up, you would leave your house. Yeah. It is a big deal. But nobody thinks it's a big deal when it comes to their own bodies. They're like,
I haven't pooped in a week, big deal, or 2 weeks, or 4 weeks.
Yeah, I'm like, did you eat in that 1 week? Yeah. You ate a lot of food. Why is that not coming out? Where is that going? Yeah. And so when I say stuff like that to my clients, they're like, well, like 3 meals a day, or maybe 5 meals a day, that's a lot of food. And then you have your little snacks, or like there's a birthday party, and you've eaten a little bit more. For a whole week, you times that by just 7 days if you haven't pooped, even 3 days. That is a ton of food waste. Yeah. We're not even mentioning the body waste. No. Or the mucus, or the fat, or the dead, like, bacteria, viruses, everything, energy, hormones coming through. That's so much waste just sitting in your body. Like, that's not going to make you feel good. No. You cannot be your best self when you are not eliminating properly. And so everybody's like, well, it's calories in, calories out. I'm like, no. It's nutrition in, waste out. Yeah. That is what makes a healthy, happy, motivated, optimally functioning human. Yes. Nutrients in, waste out. You got to get the waste out.
Yeah. One of the things I think that's important to mention too, and a lot of the science is really catching on. I mean, it caught on a number of years ago, but it's starting to be more mainstream. So I sort of judge it when it's caught on in terms of the mainstream piece of it. But our second brain is in our gut. We have, I can't remember the percentage of neurological pathways in as much as, if not more, as our brain and spinal cord in our digestive tract.
Yep.
And so if you think about that for a second, we think of our brain and our spinal cord tissue as being like the important centers of what keeps us alive and functioning and thinking and all of that. But we have that, at least the equivalent, inside of our digestive tract. That is not by chance. That's not by coincidence. It's designed to use that as cues to make shifts within our body. So if you have all of that backed up and not in balance, even from a bacterial perspective, that is affecting like you said, every other part, gland, and organ of your body, and it's a dangerous place to be. And dis-ease of the body for me is that imbalance, we were born with this physicality, and it has an intelligence of its own. You don't have to go, okay, digest my banana. Your body just does that. And if we do things with our lifestyle external to us, what food we're putting in, water, drink, toxins, thoughts, ideas, emotions, any of that, if we aren't monitoring what is nutritious and nutrient dense, thoughts included, into our body, then we're hindering a natural process. This body is going to do what it needs to do. Like the earth is going to have enough and kick us off because it has a natural process. It doesn't need us for that. Our bodies are the same way. I'm going to give you something, a dis-ease, so that you start really paying attention to me. So they're less the final thing. Like I don't see cancer as like the end product. I see cancer as a symptom of other things going on in the body. It's the way it's the method of communication.
I love, when I first heard that a couple of years ago, probably like 7 years ago, I was like, the body can talk. Like I got this, my brain, my mind is here. It's telling me what I need to do. And then when I started to dive into things and fix my own health, I'm like, oh my goodness. The reason I had a bunch of acne down by my chin and by my neck, that is where the colon is. My body was telling me in its own way that, excuse me, I need a little cleaning here. I'm going to send toxins through your skin to give you a sign and say, help me. I didn't listen. Gas and bloating. Major gas and major bloating.
Many people don't know that's not normal.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I found this to the colon hydrotherapy. I'd say, do you have any gas and bloating? And they'd say, no. What are you talking about? And their bellies are rock hard like pregnant bellies. And I'm like, boing, boing, boing. That's gas and bloating. What? And then as they start to breathe and engage the process, they realize their belly fluctuated up and down. And then they had a sense of, oh, that's what it feels like to not be bloated. But they live their whole lives.
Because if you don't know, then you don't know.
Yeah, you don't.
Because I have a lot of people that would say, well, Gina, I feel good, but I would just, maybe I need to cleanse. People just say you need to cleanse. And I said, do you really feel good? But if you've never felt good, you don't actually know what it is. And I every day I'm in awe. I'm like, the body, it functions, and I don't even have to think about it. But it will tell you when it wants some help, through burning eyes, through lack of sleep. Every single symptom that someone experiences is the body screaming at you saying, excuse me, I need a little bit of attention. But we don't know how to listen, or it kind of freaks us out. So we just kind of, I don't know, put on some cream
and we externally try to fix it without going inward. Like, how's that for a metaphor? My life is crap. I'm unhappy. I have to look at me. I have to look inside and start to listen, but we have to hold enough space to listen. So I love that you've already brought up meditation and breath work, and whether you're unhappy in life or your body is showing symptoms of toxicity, it's a sign, it's a symptom. So it's a sign and a symptom that there's something to be listened to. But if we don't choose to stop our lives long enough to take a breath or 12.
It's scary.
Consistently.
Because then you have to think about things.
Then it all comes flooding. So Bobby and I are creating this magical, spiritual, sensual experience. It's 5 weeks, 5 different modalities to play with. So there'll be chakra dance and meditation and breath work and a bunch of different things. And it's exploring this reclamation of our magical, spiritual, sensual selves, and recognizing that perhaps sexuality has been stretched over top of that, and rediscovering our sacred selves. And what I realized in the conversations with the women prior to this is that the effort it takes for them, or how they realize instinctually that the moment they stop and give themselves this space, they are scared of what's going to flood. Because we're on these treadmills in a Western world of running and racing and trips, like we were talking about this morning, the dropping off and the picking up and the school and the projects and the food and the bombardment of I should have some, quiet time for myself too, and all of that. And we instinctually know that which we've been running away from, the moment we stop and breathe and choose ourselves as a priority, Lord knows what's going to come to the surface. So that's one thing. And what I've recognized over the years in being in colon hydrotherapy and nutrition and sort of this more natural, holistic approach, how many times did you have people on your colonics table that were just there for a cleanse, and then their whole lives fell apart because they allowed themselves to soften. They softened their guts and allowed their poop to flow. And the metaphorical poop flowed and was directly attached to the physical poop flowing.
You eliminate feelings.
You do.
Through, a hormone is basically something that you
the chemical
feel,
part of the feeling,
And when that goes into the liver and the liver processes the hormones and throws it into the bile, that comes out in either the urine or the poop. So you are actually sending feelings down the toilet that need to be released. So when you're not having bowel movements, you're just cramming all those feelings up in you. And a lot of times I have people who have major mood swings around their period time, and that's a time of cleansing. And so a lot of people will also find that they have good poops around their period, which is awesome because the body is trying to cleanse, but the liver has so many feelings that are held into it. And so they'll just get released, and all of a sudden you're crying, and then you're happy, and then you're laughing, and then you want to throw things and punch the wall. And they're just like, I think I'm crazy. I'm like, no, you're not crazy. This is, in my head, it's this very simple fix. You fix your diet, you add in a little bit of meditation, and you de-stress a little bit, and we'll just get the poops rolling, and it will change your life.
Literally.
And it sounds absolutely absurd. Oh, if I start pooping, Gina, it'll change my life. Yes, you will. And if you don't believe me, I dare you to try pooping more.
It's a simple thing. Dedicate 4 weeks to your life of nutrition and whatever, all the things that you just spoke of, and you can't not be profoundly changed by that.
Because you are releasing, you are cleaning house. How do you feel after you've spring cleaned? It is refreshing.
And I would ask
and
yourself,
you can think better.
If I'm thinking that as you say spring cleaning, if you dread spring cleaning and it's something you avoid at all costs, how do you poop? How, our willingness to look under the carpet and really have a look at the dust bunnies and really look at, in the colonics business, again, sometimes when people come to me and I you go through the 2 hours of the initial pre-questions to get a sense of where they're at, and you realize they have not paid any attention for months and months or their whole lives about how often they even eliminate. They have to actually think back and then practice that. That's a disconnection. That's a disconnection from self. That's a denial. That's a refusal to know. And sometimes it comes with messages of that's dirty, that's yucky, why would I pay attention to it? But when we start to pay attention to self, our bodily functions, how we move, how I feel, recognizing that I'm having a period of sadness right now, it feels unusual, rather than naming it and fixing it, holding space for what feels right to emerge. I need time with my family. Period. I don't care that I'm going in 2 months. I need that now. That level of self-commitment to acknowledge that and then do what needs to be done, in the realm of pooping is the same thing. But you can't if you don't hold space to even acknowledge it. And
sometimes it's uncomfortable, but it's okay to feel uncomfortable. And even me, I'm just sometimes I'll just randomly cry, and I don't feel sad. And it's really weird to me. Gina, what are you doing? Why are you crying? What, are you okay? Do you feel? I'm I feel fine, but my body just needs to release something. So it's okay to feel uncomfortable. And I think going back to spring cleaning, when you're like, oh, I have so many boxes and I need to go through so many things, and you're freaking out about it, it's not that scary if you are prepared. If you're turning up that rug and you're so scared to see what's under it, but you have a vacuum ready, you're like, I am prepared, I am ready, like, come at me, I'm ready to do this. Because you might be uncomfortable for a little bit, maybe a week, while you're cleansing or changing your diet or diving into meditation or going to do energy work or whatever it is that helps you de-stress, or going to yoga or doing a new fitness class, whatever it is that your body needs, it's uncomfortable to start. But if you get over that 3 to 7 day period, your life will be so much better. You'll be a better person to yourself. You won't feel uncomfortable and hate the body that you're in because it feels uncomfortable. You will be a better mom, a better sister, a better niece, a better aunt, a better coworker. It sounds insane, but all because you are eliminating toxins and waste, and you're dejunking your body of negative thoughts and things that have happened to you. So a lot of people, they'll come to me and they're like, well, I have depression and anxiety. Awesome. They're like, I know, but it's a chronic depression. And I'm like, that's okay. I can help guide you to make your body function so it feels better. And they say, well, how do you do that? What do you prescribe? And I say, a good poop in the morning, a good poop in the afternoon, and hopefully a good poop in the evening. And they think I'm joking.
Yeah, I know.
And so we tweak their diet. We take out the foods that cause inflammation, which is, I take out peanuts and corn and then all animal products. Not forever. Nobody's like, we do trial periods. How does this sit with you? Did you feel better? We include intermittent fasting, the beginning stages of intermittent fasting, to help repair the body, bring down inflammation. Because when your body's inflamed, whether it's from stress or food, a trauma from the past, whatever it is that has made your body want to protect itself inside by creating inflammation, we have to get rid of that. Because inflammation, the body can't function properly. It's just in survival mode. And then with the gut-brain axis that we were talking about, so the gut and the brain are connected, and some bugs just have a gut. They don't even have a brain, which is incredible. But you have the whole nervous system down there, and that's how your body knows what nutrients to give to where, and what to clean out, and where to dump the stuff from the blood. And so if that vagus nerve, it's the biggest nerve in the body that runs from the brain to the gut, and they communicate all the time. And it says, okay, what do I need? They check up on each other. If that is inflamed due to stress, due to trauma, due to diet, due to being backed up, due to a sluggish liver, whatever it is that's making that inflamed, now you have no connection. And I feel like that might be a lot of the general public's problem with, well, I have foggy brain, well, I have lack of motivation, well, I have depression, well, I have anxiety. If you check in with yourself, you usually feel all of that in the gut. Your gut will feel heavy, and you don't really feel it in your brain. You just kind of have a foggy brain, but all of the emotion and feelings and the energy stem from the gut, or that's what happens for me. Where I'm like, I just feel yucky. I just feel gross, and I just feel like I just want to scrub my inside and just cleanse everything. And so once you get rid of that inflammation and from the vagus nerve, and your brain and gut can communicate again, now you're one. Before your body was cut in half. And you were trying to be two different people at once when you are one beautiful being. Making sense? Am I rambling?
No, not at all. Not at all. That was a beautiful, eloquent description of it. So I'm going to talk about connection and symbiotic relationship. In any ecosystem, whether it's your gut or it's a forest system or a prairie system or a jungle system or an ocean system, everything plays a role. Everything has connection to everything else. It's important, and I think part of the reclamation for me in my own journey of cleansing and is, we were talking about this sort of before we started recording, is I'm so inclined by my history and how I was enculturated to compartmentalize. Well, this is my liver and this is my digestive tract, and those are my thoughts. They're not related to my whatever, my gut, my pooping. That was how I was raised. That's what was mirrored to me outside. And so part of my journey has been not only connecting with myself and giving myself the opportunity to even know how my body or my essence is feeling. Just checking in is a radical act. But coming to know also those different processes we've talked about today. How is my liver feeling? My kids can talk to you about what that feels like for them because we've articulated that in their upbringing. I didn't have that perspective before.
Not taboo.
No,
it's a good thing.
It's educating.
A way of life.
It is, but I didn't have that perspective in the beginning, so it was all very, mechanical, and your body does this, and I'm going to cleanse, and this is how I'm going to cleanse. I'm going to cut out sugar and dairy and corn and soy and meat and all of these things. And then it was very regimented, right? Yeah, so then the deprivation comes in, and then I learned how to cook for myself, which made that easier, and then it became a passion, and then it was totally awesome, but it was still a very regimented and compartmentalized experience. So what has changed for me is in my ability to listen to myself and pay attention to my body. I'm having a cue in my knees lately that they're sore and they're inflamed and they're stressed somehow. And I don't jump to the fixing. I don't jump to the cleansing the way I did. I give it some space and time, and I wait for the impulse inside of me to say, okay, this is where I need to go. But the symbiosis there, the connected piece is knowing that sometimes the answer is there's nothing to be fixed. It's more about the listening piece, because my body is capable of doing what it needs to do with very simple help. Water, sunshine, breathing, nutrition, just simple things. But if I don't know that the elbow is connected to the knee, okay, my elbow isn't connected to my knee bone, but if I don't understand that each part informs the other, like you were discussing with the gut-brain axis, then I can't trust in my own body's device and in my own essence, and then I leap to doing something to my body. There's a gentler approach now. There's a more connected approach. I know that what am I saying? It's like I'm less inclined to force something upon my body in a very strict way. Sometimes it is strict.
Like you don't panic first. You
breathe.
breathe.
I don't like panic and then go to my tools. Give me a pill. Because whether that's a vitamin C pill or that's a pharmaceutical pill, I'm still enforcing something on my body. I wait for a more intuitive sense. And I have some physiological knowledge. I have anatomy and physiology knowledge. I understand how my body functions, but it goes beyond that. It's the connection with our emotions, like you were saying. It's the connection to my external world here. My cells are replicating based on how I feel, which is based on what I see and what I create. So it's a more holistic and connected approach than just as simple as put this in and then this digests and then it comes out that way. I'm throwing that out there because it's important, because you've alluded to it several times and come right out talking about the emotions and how we're getting rid of the bile and how it's attached to the chemical messengers from our adrenal glands, for example. In your practice, from a holistic approach, how much of those conversations, like I get a sense of it because you've talked about it today, but is that part of your approach when you're dealing with your people in terms of empowering them to start to listen, in terms of, this idea of depression and things like you I think I'm sort of answering the question for you. Is the emotional aspect of it, the energetic aspect of it, is that important for you in your practice?
Huge.
And where do you see it? And what do you offer for people?
So what, because I don't want to see them again. I mean, I love them and I'm happy that they came to me, but I want them to fix themselves. And if I can be a guide in helping them do that, because I've been through the torture of trying to heal and figure out and Google and doctors and naturopaths and in the end, I had to do it myself. I had to learn what nutrition was for real and what my body needed and how to heal it. So I went to school and I did research and I tried things on myself. And eventually I was like, I got to a point where I thought it was more complicated than it was. And that's the thing, is when people are like, well, cleansing, I have to starve myself for 7 days. I'm like, no. No. It could be lemon water in the morning. Like, start small. And so I always want people, I want to empower them for them to fix themselves. I always say, I'm just going to be your guide. They want me to do the fixing. I'm not them. I'm not in their body. But I do have some tips and tricks that could help them. So one thing that I always say, which also helps them get in tune with their body or their thoughts, and just to kind of feel a little bit. So right now I'm doing an intermittent fasting challenge for 7 days. This is the first day that we're starting today. And I said, anybody who wants to do this, I give them all the facts and all the details, and I'll throw some links in there for YouTube and a science report and blah, blah, blah. And I've been doing it for a year and a half. And I say, does this resonate with you? And there's usually a pause. And they're like, no, this feels good to me. And I said, then do it. Don't do it because I told you to do it. But if it really resonates with you and kind of lights your soul up, like you're excited for something new and you're excited to heal or feel better, then do that. And I'm not gonna judge you if it doesn't resonate with you. If it doesn't resonate, don't do it. And so right then, that's when my clients will say, it does, Gina, and I want to do that. And if they say no, there's no judgment. I'm like, okay, we'll try something else. And if that doesn't resonate with you, because there's so many different approaches that you make. Maybe you need to start meditation first. Maybe that's what your body needs before we go crazy with nutrition or tweaking diets or get you on an exercise plan. Maybe you're just sad and you're holding a lot of stress and tension. So we're going to get you deep breathing and we're going to get you meditating. And then they check in with me just to say, this is how I felt. So they have somebody that kind of keeps them accountable, but then they also have someone who's excited for them. Like, you meditated for the first time today. How did you feel? Did you feel lighter? Did it bring up more stuff? And so that's how I start to get them to just be with themselves for a little bit. We're always with other people. And I'm an extrovert, so I'm like, give me all the people. I love it, and I love the energy. But sometimes I do need to like check back and just be like, hey Gina, how are you feeling? Are you making a Band-Aid? Do you have a bunch of acne, and are you scrubbing your face with hydrogen peroxide? No, you need to get to the root issue. So if someone came to me with, say, a knee pain, I would say, how stressed are you? I always ask what stress level. And it's interesting though, some people say, I don't think I'm stressed. All the time, about 90% of people, give me your stress level from 1 to 10. 5? I don't know. You don't know how stressed you are? No, I have no idea. I'm like, I've been there. Where I'm like, I'm great, and I'm just literally hanging on by a thread. And I love it because my sister says, I'm not stressed. And I'm like, everything you just said to me, when I check in with you how your life is going, is complete stress. Stress, and stress. Your adrenals are on fire right now. I'm not stressed. Do we even know what stress is anymore? Are we so used to it that it's normal?
Stress means you're in the hospital. Stress, like when it's to that end where your adrenal glands are burnt out and you have a disease, then we can own that we're stressed.
I'm like, it's okay to be stressed. There's a good amount of stress as well. Normal. So I always say, what's your stress level? And then when they say, I don't think I'm stressed, that's when I dig a little bit deeper. And they might say, I have lower back pain. Okay. How much are you pooping? Because when the colon is full, it starts to push out wherever it can, because there's not enough room, pushes on that back, which can push on some muscles, hit the sciatic, and then all of a sudden your hips are tight now, and then it goes down to your knee, and it starts pulling, all due to a little bit of stress, and get those poops rolling, and then
oh my God, my knees feel better.
You could be good. Like but when some people are like, well, I need knee surgery, my knees hurt. I'm like, whoa. Check in with yourself. So I'm not an energy worker, but I believe in it, and I get it done, and I know that that's what literally makes the world turn. And so we start small with stress levels. does this program resonate with you? Does taking dairy out of your diet right now resonate with you? And so you get them to think, oh. Or the other thing that I also do when it comes to nutrition is I get them to write down a 3-day food journal. Again, no judging, because some people are like, well, I don't want to put that box of cookies. I'm like, I've eaten a box of cookies before. Calm down. Like, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you. And I've been there. So anyways, they'll write down a 3-day food journal. And that also gets them like, what am I putting in my body? What am I fueling my beautiful body work that works for me every single second of every single day? And once they write it down and they see it and they're actually like with a pen, once you were physically doing that, wow, I'm not really good to my body. I thought that I was healthy. I had a lady say that she was healthy. She's like, oh, I'm fine, I'm healthy. 8 Diet Cokes a day. And I'm like,
But if we aren't tuned in enough to even offer ourselves the truth of that, then...
Because we're just mindfully grabbing things. We're in a hurry. We're driving our kids everywhere. We're grabbing whatever's on the floor. The kids have half eaten it. And what did you eat today? Maybe a cookie. Maybe a half-eaten bagel that my kid vomited up, and that's the only thing that's around. And so by doing those little things of write me a food journal. Write me, if someone's super, super stressed, I'm like, when do you get stressed? When you come home? Because your house is messy? And is your house messy because your inside of your body's messy? So there's just little things that you can ask yourself or or a client of yours or whoever it is to just get them to just turn to themselves for a little bit. But a lot of people don't want to deal with the mess. They know that they're a mess. But we're all a mess.
Or it comes in as a specific thing. Well, I want to fix my knees. And then there's this whole other world.
Then I'm like colon, back pain, sciatic nerve, stress levels, sitting for too long. Like it opens up a whole can. But when you open up that can, I am there or someone is there to help you be ready and be prepared to fix it.
You were saying something earlier about like how I was picturing you listening to your client as you're like getting your nail underneath a couple of, story bits that they would share, and the power in that for me, and where it becomes empowering for me is being witnessed in my process. So, you called it accountability, and I would have called it accountability a few years ago, but now the reframe for me is the community and the support of it. It is just simply, I'm here to see you, no matter where you are, no matter what is going on. And I have a few tools that I can offer you. And I love, love, love that it is from the perspective of, does that resonate with you? So one of the things I've always been, I'm sure we talked about this before, but one of the things that I used to tell this to my colonics clients. In fact, I had the conversation with a group of ladies the other day when I was doing a cleansing workshop, is it must resonate with you, whatever it is, whether it's me and my information, or it's this way of eating, or it's your colon hydrotherapist, or it's your naturopath, or your doctor, or your energy worker, whatever it is, to honor myself first, which is what I believe we should be doing, period, no exceptions, me before my kids. Like, I have to honor myself.
Full cup.
The old, absolute, and put the mask on yourself, or you're no use for anybody else. I think the biggest teaching here is bringing it back to self first, that I wear all the hats and have all the power and authority, because being raised in this environment that we are raised in North America, and I'm sure it's just a human issue, we are taught to be externally referenced. So the naturopath and the doctor and the energy worker, and then anybody but you basically knows better than you do. So I love, love, love that that's what you bring into it, and I always preach that to everybody I talk to, no matter what the context is. No matter what anybody's telling you, you take it in, you run it through your own filter, you have a sense of it. Does it resonate with you? It's a yes or a no, or a not now, or whatever.
You're the only one who knows you. You are the only one who can fix yourself. You know in the back of your mind that maybe you need a diet change. Maybe you need to drop something so you're less stressed. Maybe you just need to deep breathe for a little bit. You know most people know what they need, they just don't want to face it because it's easier to give your problems to somebody else for them to tell you what to do. Yeah. It's easier for me to send someone a recipe or a food, like a food chart, or what is it?
Like a guideline.
There we
or
go.
Something.
All the recipes for every single day of the week, and just say, do this. And I do that for a week, but I will not do it long term because I want to give you back your power or help you realize that you are your power. You are the only one who's going to poop for yourself. You're the only one who's going to put water into your mouth. You're the only one who's going to be able to help yourself think clear thoughts. Like, that's you. And I think, because it scared me. Another thing I find my clients like is that when they find out that I struggle as well. Oh, like all of a sudden that you're a herbalist and a poop coach and you're perfect and like we need to bow to you and you're like above us. I'm like, no. I still stress. I still have lack of sleep. I still have problems in my life and trauma that I have to overcome as well. Like, I am with you. I'm just at a different stage where I've maybe cleaned up my eating a little bit better, or maybe I've now learned to meditate for 5 minutes with a YouTube video or without one, or now I deep breathe in my car. I've been there. I've suffered, and sometimes I still do. And so when they can connect with you that, oh my gosh, you're human too. You suffer.
It's authenticity.
Yeah, you don't poop sometimes. I'm like, and it's awful, and like, don't be around me because I'm an irritated, toxic mess. So it's just nice and refreshing when as a poop coach or someone who's been in colonics, like I get colonics. I've been there, I've done that. And for some reason, I don't know why us humans like to know that other people suffer. I mean, because sometimes
it's
like,
humanness.
Oh, that hike really kicked your butt? Good, it kicked mine too. Like, it just all of a sudden makes me feel so much better.
But that is necessary in a culture and an environment where we have to have it all together, and that's the presupposition.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's the presupposition. We're just going to pause this for a sec. Oh, it's 10:09.
10:09?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Or maybe that's when we started.
Or is it 11?
Could you just move the mouse on that?
On the clock?
Computer?
I just have to pick up my nephew. I'm like, I could just chat for hours.
Well, we're 47 minutes in, so we can. I feel like we're to the piece of that where we need to be.
I think I want to touch a little bit on how, because everybody's like, okay, you're telling me to do all this stuff, and
where do we start?
Okay, you give me all this information, and I just have this big pile of laundry, and like, where do I start? What time? What is it? 10:57. Okay, we're good.
Go. Perfect.
We're good.
Yeah.
Did we pause it?
No, we're still going.
Oh, well, look at that.
That was one of those human moments we discussed earlier. Oh my gosh, what time is it?
I got to pick up my nephew. I left him the other day, and I lied to the school.
Every mother,
Small
every
emergency.
person does that.
Okay. Woo.
So what do you want people to know about poop? About their process, about their... I mean, that might be an hour-long conversation, but...
the basics, I'm like, we just opened a whole new can of... I want people to check in with themselves. Did you poop today? I had a lady come to me in colonics when I was doing them, 18 days and nothing.
Yeah.
And I almost fell over. My colon just started to cry. I'm like, are you kidding? How are you still living? So... how much do you poop? Is it a solid log? Does it feel good coming out? Does it burn? Does it float? Does it sink? Like, look at your bowel movements and just be aware of how many you're having. And I hope that you are at least having one big bowel movement that comes out hopefully in the morning, because that's when your body's just like ready to go. It sets you up for a great day. You feel lighter, you have less toxins in you, your stomach is flat, you're hungry, and I notice when people poop more, they have a desire to eat healthier because they feel better. When you feel like crap, you want to eat crappy foods. Misery loves company. Feel like crap, I'm going to eat whatever I want because I'm just going to throw my feelings at
my body's not
functioning anyways. But when you start to have bowel movements, you feel clean, you feel energized, you feel motivated. You actually want to move your body in whatever way that is for you. So the very first thing, if someone's like, well, what advice would you give to someone who maybe doesn't poop once a day? The number one thing, oh wow.
I want to see if this is going to be my answer.
Oh wow. There's so many, because there's like a spiritual, there's a physical, there's a mental. So let's work on the physical. But there's so many, okay, there's not so many things.
You don't have to nail it down to one.
That's true. We'll say a couple. So in the morning, wake up, don't think about your psychotic day that's going to be happening. Deep belly breath. Let it in, let it out, let that belly come out, bring it in, get all of that air out of your lungs. And then you can just have a nice warm cup of lemon water, tea, maybe it's just water. Don't automatically just drink a coffee and be like, this is going to help me poop. Because that's negatively stimulating your digestive system. And it's just like, it's like if someone came to you when you were sleeping and just shook you and said, wake up.
Yeah, it's rude.
It's just, you're in like this frantic, holy crap, we're getting up. And then your whole day, you just have like the jitters. Yeah. So it's take a deep breath. Don't start stressing the first thing you do when you wake up. Deep breath. I'm alive. I'm here. I'm probably going to poop today. This is going to be awesome.
Time out. You should do recordings of, good morning, this is Gina.
The poop
You're
meditation.
going to have a poop today. Because I love listening to your voice. That's part of why I've asked you to do this. And you're genuine. And there's very few of us who are genuinely excited when people poop. So I feel like you should add that to your repertoire. But
people send me pictures and they're like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever done, but I wanted to show you this.
I asked for it all
Or
the time.
I thought about you when I had this beautiful poop. Yeah. And so I've got this reputation of, that's why I'm like, I'll just be a poop coach. Yeah. Because I'm so passionate, because it has to do with health and wellness and like living your best life. So a nice warm cup. Again, it de-stresses you. It calms you. And then it stimulates the liver, which kicks out some bile, which is the body's natural laxative. And it helps with inflammation, and it just gets things moving. So that would be one of the first things I would do. And then I would break your fast with some sort of fruit. So instead of diving into the bagel or the cream cheese or whatever people have for breakfast, with some sort of a light fruit smoothie, a banana with some almond butter, just something gentle. And then go from there. There's another thing that I like to do is slant boarding. So if you don't have a slant board machine, then you can put two pillows. You can stack them on top of each other. Put your hips on the top of the pillows and lean your head back. So you're in a bridge, a yoga bridge position. And because we're so stressed and we're always walking around and sitting and slouching, your body, the organs start to shift down, and they all kind of start to pool at the belly. And it makes you feel like you have a heavy belly. So when you reverse the flow of your body, then gravity will start to pull all of your organs back into place, and it usually will lift up that transverse colon that it starts to say, because it's so heavy, because it's so full of poop, because nobody poops these days. And then most people will be like, oh my gosh, I was like on the slant board and you told me to go for 5 minutes and I had to run to the bathroom and poop. I'm like, booyah. Like that is what needs to happen. So that's another thing you can do in the morning. It takes 3 minutes. So if you just get up 15 minutes earlier, you're good. A little bit of warm water, some deep breathing, a little bit of slant board, and then breaking your fast with fruit.
Okay. Something gentle.
And the body runs off of glucose. And so just to start all of the organs up, it's like, oh, awesome, this nourishing piece of fruit. I don't like to do an apple in the morning. I like to do something more creamy. So I do a banana.
Banana has a bit of fat and protein in it too, which sort of balances that out.
And so it's just something nice and gentle. And then you can dive into the rest of your meals. Another thing that really helps people have a good bowel movement in the morning, or feel better in the stomach, less heavy, is if you stop eating at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock or less. So 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And some people are like, well, I need to, that's when they want to binge at night.
It is. Oh, totally.
And go to bed on a heavy stomach. I'm like, the digestive system does not want to digest food at night. It wants to repair the body. It wants to use its energy to repair. So that's another thing that really helps people. That's not crazy. They don't need it to go out and buy anything. It's just stop eating at least 3 hours
Before
bed.
There's part of your intermittent fasting too. I've been doing a lot of reading. I've been doing keto again, and reading about the body actually breaks down glucose at nighttime. That's one of the processes it does best with. So even if you're going to have a snack at 6, if you're going to have like whatever, like a sweet potato or some berries or something simple, that's better for you, because what we typically crave is, potato chips and heavy foods. Things, right? But that your body will actually do rather well with carbohydrates. So some berries and some almond milk or something simple like that. But to stop. So it's easy to get a 12-hour chunk if you stop eating by 7 o'clock, and then you can eat again and break that fast. So you're entering anything, I think it's over 11 hours, between 11 and 18. That is sort of your fasting window for the intermittent fasting, where your body can do profoundly more work inside for that time, and that's not difficult to do.
And you're also going to be way better off if you're not snacking on those awful foods. Like, just stop eating so late, and maybe that's when you're just going to go do a little workout. Maybe you're going to go meditate,
have a bath, do something to keep your activities. I'm bad. I'll lay in bed and I'll just want to eat chips. That's what I want to do. And
you have to break that cycle. Habit, but it's hard because if you're not pooping, you feel gross. You just want to sit there and eat everything. And I've been there. I've totally been there. I used to be addicted to junk food. And I don't even ask me to walk a block because I'm not going to do it. And now I'm running around like a psycho and telling people about poop. And
I don't know, you've been running around for a long since I've known you.
That is true. So just to recap, little lemon water, deep breaths. You can do the pillow slant board. You just need to invert your body so your bowels will start to...
Think about hanging. I wonder if you could even do it just off the edge of like a couch or a bed.
I do it off my couch, but I always have a pillow there because if your ab muscles aren't strong enough, then you just flop down and you hit your head. And that's happened to me while I was pregnant. I was like, ow.
I bet.
That really hurt. So just be a little bit careful. That's why the bed's a little safer. But you can do it off a chair, you can do it off a bed, off of a couch. And just deep breath, say thank you, you're up for another day. A little bit of warm liquid in the morning, or just even a cup of water, not super cold water, but just get some liquids flowing, and then don't eat late and break your fast with nice piece of fruit.
Sweet.
And the reason I say fruit is because our body runs off of glucose, but if you think about it, what is the most available food in the world? You don't have to have a garden, you don't have to cook it, it's already in its own package. Fruit, it was meant to be picked off the tree and eaten. You do nothing else for it. It's in its raw form. So packed with vitamins and minerals. So good, so sweet. It has water in it. Like it's the perfect food to start your day off with, to just give you that life zing.
Especially when there's I can smell the lilikoi right now. Actually, I'm thinking we're on our way to Hawaii soon, and I picked up a passion fruit in the store the other day, and I smelled it, and I'm like, oh, there's literally no smell. But when you say that, I can see it and just like crack it open and smell
the juice,
the life in it, and you're beginning your life of each day with that.
And you want to break your fast. Like you can do it with vegetables too if you want, but make it bright. Make your food bright and exciting. When I got picked up from the airport a couple days ago, I took a picture of it and I tried to be sneaky about it because it was so interesting to me. So there's this beautiful restaurant in the Chinook Mall. It's a Hawaiian, it's brand new. They have like these, I had a kale rice, sweet potato bowl with like this beautiful tahini dressing on it, vegan, gluten-free, but even if you don't even eat like that, it was so good and so flavorful and so filling, and it was colorful. It was bright and it just screamed life. And then my nephew, he had noodles, rice, or corn, which was like almost a brown corn because it was in this like weird sauce, and then 3 pieces of brown meat. The whole plate was brown. And I'm looking at him like, that doesn't scream life to me.
No.
But I ate this colorful green and red and purple and orange and white with black sesame seeds on it. I'm like,
it engaged all your senses.
yes. I was like, my eyes and my taste buds, and I could smell it. And it was the $7 bowl of kale and vegetables, but it fueled me, and I was excited to eat it. And I said, this is life. I want my life to look like this bowl. Just vibrant and glowing. And then there's like this saucy slop of
monoculture, homogenized.
Yeah. And I'm just like, that's not
let your food be your metaphor for your life.
Yeah.
Like,
what are you
work at
eating
creating that?
A greasy piece of sausage in the morning? Again, if you want to eat sausage, cool. But is that the first thing that's going to be in your body to start your day, to just sit there in your stomach? Where is the life and the sunshine, especially in the wintertime? Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard to get out of bed. Yeah. But if you can get out of bed and just eat this like bright colored rainbow thing that looks like a bowl of healthy Skittles, yes. And your bowels will smile and they will love you.
And they'll poop for you.
For it.
Yeah.
And then you'll go to the bathroom, have an awesome poop, and be like, I'm going to take over the world today because I feel fantastic.
True story.
Absolutely fantastic.
So where can people find your enthusiastic poop coaching?
So I just started a Facebook group. I'm not really on. It's hard because I'm like, social media, but I kind of work online.
Well, especially when you live in a different country.
Hi, Annie. Are you Ricky's? Did you hear poop? Are you pooping? And we celebrate poops at our house. When she poops, I'm like, awesome. Like, I don't want this to be taboo for you. No. So anyways, you can find me. I do almost a post a day. Which is that's pretty good. I might do more, but I share recipes and pooping tips and meditation tips, everything that has to do with healthy digestion. Yeah. So I just started this thing on Facebook, and it's called Gina the Poop Coach.
Okay. I'll attach it to...
I know, because some people couldn't find it, and so I had to send them the link, or I had to add them.
I saw it somewhere in the last few days, so I must have access to it.
So I chit-chat about it's free.
Gina the Poop Coach.
Yeah, I'm not selling anything.
Yeah.
It's just, if you want my 2 cents, if you need to ask a question or want my opinion, I am there, and I will give you everything that I think that you need. And again, if it resonates with you, do that. If you need to leave my group because you don't want to, cool. Yeah. You want to be in it? I don't care. That's okay. So Gina the Poop Coach.
Okay. I'll attach it to the YouTube when I upload this.
Awesome. And people message me all the time.
Yeah.
I love message. I love when people ask questions because I know that they want to change and they just don't know where to go, and they're like, well, I have troubles pooping. Gina, poop. Okay, I'm going to ask her. And so once somebody actually comes to me and I don't go to them, which I don't do, I'm like, you have to, if I know you want to change, then you'll come to somebody that you need. Yeah. And so I've had so many questions, and it's so much fun for people to be like, well, what is this? Or how many times should you poop? Or what is a healthy poop look like? Yeah. And I don't do well with dairy, but I feel like I need it in my diet because that's what the world says. Yeah. We can take it out. That's okay. Yeah. Or I'm hungry and I'm on a plant-based diet. So I just give you, my thoughts. Yeah. And then you do what
what feels right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I get that totally.
But it's fun. You get to see my face. I do Facebook's lives, which
perfect.
I was so scared of the video. I'm like, there's a video camera on me. Oh my goodness. But now I'm just like, well, you wanted to come into my group? Yeah. You need a little bit of help. If I can help you, I will definitely do that. So not selling anything. Sometimes I will post about a poop challenge where I'll give you the recipes and everything to do to repair your gut for 7 days. But other than that, join my group. Let's talk about poop. Yeah. Let's get rid of this.
That needs to be a t-shirt. Join my group. Let's talk about poop.
Yeah, that's what could be. Oh, that should be like my cover photo. But I'm sick of it being taboo. I'm sick of people not knowing that poop is like the best thing for them. And it starts as a kid.
Yeah, it does.
I say the word poop and people are like, oh my gosh, like what did she just say? Like I just said the worst swear word in the world. Yeah. When it's the best thing that you could ever do for your health. Yeah. So whenever my little girl, she's 14 months, whenever she has a bowel movement, I'm like, good poops, like that was awesome. Yeah. And we celebrate them because that is where your health and your immune system and your happiness is going to come from. Yeah. Serotonin stored and made in the gut. You send that up to your brain through the vagus nerve. Like there's so much happening, and we don't even know half of it.
Yeah, no, we don't. We just know a very snippet of it. Yeah, that's true.
So, and my other line is treat yourself but don't treat yourself like a trash can. Like, eat your food, have some treats once in a while, but don't trash your body.
Yeah.
So
that's all in balance, and when you're connected, that's easier to do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I want to wish everybody who's listening to this, I'm going to send out healthy poop energy. I want the poops to flow so this world can be a better, less irritated, more healthy place. So we're sending good poop energy.
Nice.
And celebrate your poops.
Yes.
Cheer in the stall. Woo-hoo, you pooped.
Hi, lady. You want to come have a look?
I know. I'm like, oh, we got a little bit of a liver issue. We got a floating poop happening, not breaking down fats.
We actually, and for that to be socially acceptable, on our computer at home, there's a full file folder called Mandy's Poop Folder. And it's pictures of poops I've had in the past and things that I've accumulated from clients as demonstration of what you should be looking for. So maybe one day.
Turn around. Actually, this is what gets me. One more thing. We could talk for hours.
We could, totally.
So when I'm in the public bathrooms and it's the automatic flush, I always have to put my hand on it
so that
because it flushes my poop before I can see.
Sometimes before you can even get up.
I know. I'm upset. I'm like, whoa, what color?
I'd like to be in control of that.
So I always have to cover it.
Yeah.
And then I can turn around and look. I'm like, well done, Gina. And I praise myself.
Yeah.
Good job, body. Thank you for working for me, because I have had the worst digestive health ever. And it took almost my life away until I said, no, my health is in my hands. There's so much research out there. There's so many people who can guide you and help you that there's no reason why we can't all be pooping and screaming hallelujah.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
Yeah. And for each other.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. That was just as fun as I hoped it would be.
Well, thank you. Whenever you ask me, I'm like, oh, Mandy wants me to say my thoughts.
I love it. And it's so much better in person, too. Like, I know there's this thing called the internet, but it does work better in person.
I'm a people person.
Your little girl got to meet my tofu. And
so that's her dog's name, and I almost want to take him home. I love tofu.
Please feel free to. All right. Well, this is Mandy with the Soulfully Sustainable podcast and my guest, Gina. And so Gina's the poop coach. Find her on Facebook. I'll put a link underneath the YouTube video, and you should be able to contact her that way. She's also got a beautiful place that her and her partner rent in Costa Rica, so you should look for that, too.
And we cook for you if you want.
Oh, that's going to be the selling point for me. I would like to have a vacation, and you cook for me, please.
Yep.
All right. Thanks.